Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you are new here, you're welcome, and if you're an old subscriber, thank you for coming back. Thank you for the congratulatory messages on my previous post on the arrival of our baby. God bless you all. So this is my husband, and this is the first time on this channel. So baby, introduce yourself.
I am not the mother of the child, I'm the father of the child.
What's wrong with you? Introduce yourself, tell us your name.
What's my name?
His name is Michael, and he's my husband, the father of Lennon. So we're just here today to talk about how we dealt with our unplanned pregnancy. Am I going to go first, or you're going to go first?
Ladies first.
Ladies first. Okay, from the video you watched about our pregnancy announcement, and yeah, it's not like the regular kind of video that everybody's gonna be happy when you know that you're pregnant. Ours was quite different because yeah, it wasn't planned, in quotes. Let me start from the beginning of the story. Let me take you guys through where we are coming from so that you guys will know where we are now and where we are going. So the background story for me, I think when I was in school of nursing, also since when I was in school of nursing, I used to have this fear of getting pregnant late while I'm married. How will I explain that now? Of not getting pregnant easily, so I used to have this fear that it will just come like a subtle voice, like you're going to have a delay when you get married before having your baby, and I'll reject the voice. Like, it's been going on and on, imagine, since when I was in school of nursing, and it was like that for a long period of time. I remember I went to a DDK's conference, and she mentioned that as when she was prophesying that there's some people here used to have this fear having delay in childbirth while you're married. She called us out and she prayed for us. So I noticed that after a while that voice stopped, but it's come softly, and then I'll speak against it. I told my husband about it then, and his usual way is just like, when is the right time, we'd have our children. So fast forward to when we got married. When we were getting married, I didn't do any family planning, and that was because of that fear I used to have. That was one. And secondly, because there were times I had irregular periods, 2 years or so, my periods were quite irregular. So I was like, having a family planning done, getting a contraceptive, because I'm not sure yet of how my body is going to react to it. I was like, okay, I was not going to get one done when I get married. So at least after my first child, let me even have a child first before I do a contraceptive. So when we got married, I didn't do any contraceptive. So the only plans we had for contraception was withdrawal method, using condoms, and in Jesus' name. To cut the long story short, plans that we're going to have our children 3 years from 2023. So that was like 2025, 2026. We're looking towards those years to have our children. So I was not like, you know what, let me just do a family planning so that I have peace of mind whenever we are, So I have peace of mind. When it's time, I know God's going to give us our babies. And the exact month that we planned to have a family planning, that was the month that we discovered that we're pregnant.
Discovered we're pregnant, and this beautiful young woman here was not ready. I was to that. So
my major fears of discovering that I was pregnant, number one, was the fact that I was not even ready. Motherhood, I was not ready. I was like, hey, I know it used to be like, I've seen moms, I've seen countless moms, and I know how it is like, and I wasn't just ready for all those drama yet. And then I was like, the way I've planned my life, I've fixated it like, okay, this year so this year this year that. A child in 2023 was not in plan, was not in the memo. Like, I wasn't ready to be a mom. So that was my number one fear. Number two was that I was like, okay, I wanted to be 1 year at my job before even considering babies. Like, at least let me be more than a year at my job, at my new job, because I just started my job newly. And then thirdly, I was like I've seen in this part of the world, I've seen many children, how they behave, how they act. Some are good though, but most of them are just like the other way around. So I was scared in a certain way that, like, parenting in this part of the world, like, if you are using 100% to raise your kids, like, you're doing 100/100 at parenting in Nigeria. This part of the world, you have to do like 1,000/1,000 to raise your child, and I didn't think I was ready for that, actually. Oh yeah, continue.
Yeah. So as I've said, that's how it was actually.
Oh my god.
I think on the at the instance of that news about pregnancy,
Yeah.
it was a lot, really. It was a lot. I think especially because she became a shadow of herself. She became a shadow of herself, and
Oh my god.
so I had to take my office as a priest of the house, and I had to go back to my creator and like, God, Alpha, this was not the plan. What's going on? And that was when I got the assurance and his name actually.
Yeah.
Because God took me to his word and I was like, children are the heritage of the Lord. And the fruit of the womb is his reward. Yeah. So I think when I got that confirmation, all the fear I had, well, I wasn't so scared, but even though, of course, I can't do parenting on my own, can I? But at the instance of that word, like, I became reassured that, okay, no matter how, because I think one of the things she was afraid of is, of course, we had plans to have like savings for childcare.
Exactly.
We had a lot of travelings to do, Paris, Greece, and all of that. So, like, she felt like having a child at this time of our life, like, we were not prepared as we should. And to be fair, it's not as if we are, but then we have God, so it's been a journey of learning and unlearning and relearning. And I think another thing that kind of boosted my confidence was the fact that, because we believe that God has so much to do through us, and she kind of felt like having a child was going to stop a lot of her career plans, all of that. And I was like, so I now had like a rethink. I sat down and I began to look at people who we look up to, the likes of Pastor Iren, Dr. Miles Monroe, who is my mentor, DDK also. So I started asking her, did I have children? I'm like, yes. Okay. Is it stopping them from fulfilling their destination? She's like, no. So okay, so you shouldn't. So I think at that point, I think I wrote a letter the day I got that word from God, and
even at that point, I was still scared. I was still saying that I don't want to have a child yet. I was still like scared because like you mentioned, I had planned that we're going to have like a particular amount of savings. At least we don't even have savings yet towards childcare. Like, we're going to save towards having a child. We're going to do a lot of travels before children come into place. And then I also remember that I was planning that, okay, we're not going to have our children in UK.
Yeah, exactly. I forgot to mention that.
Yeah, that we're not going to have our children in UK. Like, we're thinking of Canada, US, like other countries that would give our child a citizenship through birth.
It's just other opportunities.
Yeah, just other opportunities, like, right? Just an opportunity that you give your child. So we getting pregnant, that's 2023, of course. Obviously, we didn't have any money saved towards that yet. So everything was just like looking so bleak. And I remember him asking me, "Oh, your mentors, you mentioned about 3 people's name." And you were like, "Do they have children?" And I'm like, "Yes, they have children." I'm like, "Yeah, they are fulfilling their purpose and they have children. So what's going to stop us?" But I was still so scared. I was still not wanting, like,
Yeah, we even booked an appointment to talk about pregnancy, dealing with unwanted pregnancy with one of the um what did they call them again?
okay, yeah, that was when we had like, so at that point, abortion came to the table, right?
Yeah, just part of the
Yeah, we're like, okay,
options.
we are part of the option. So I was like, okay, if I don't want to keep this child, what's going to happen? I remember you saying that we should we tell somebody, like
Yeah,
maybe our family member or our
yeah,
friend, and I'm like, no, we're not going to tell anyone, so that in case in case I don't want to keep the child, at least it's just be between me, you, and God, and no one else would know, right?
yeah,
So we called them. I can't remember their name actually.
yeah. But we booked an appointment.
Yeah, we
How
booked
much? How much was the fee again?
£100.
I think 100 or something, or 100. I can't remember really. But
Yeah,
it's
no, we
100.
booked an appointment. I can't remember their name actually, but it was like a body in UK also
Yeah,
that dealt with
that helps to deal with
unplanned pregnancy also.
unplanned pregnancy. I meant to say.
Yeah. So they called, or we called them. They booked an appointment, and they were like they were going to send a pill to the house
Yeah,
for 100. It was the amount was £100.
yeah,
But she was like, she told me, because I spoke with the receptionist or maybe the other, yeah, and she said if I have to come in to see the midwife, then it's going to be £400.
yeah.
Yeah, that was the amount then. So we're like, okay, so we booked the appointments, we made the date and the time, they gave us date and time.
Just in case.
Yeah, just in case, that was another option. So it was there.
It was on that very day, I think that, or a day before that, you became.
Yeah,
fine.
so at the end of the day, well, Shad, I was like, that was an option for me. I remember you come back from work that period, and that period I had like plenty off.
Yeah.
So I was always at home, I was always crying. I was always crying. You come back from work, you'll be like, have you changed your mind? I'll say no. I'll say no, I've not changed my mind. You'll be like, okay, whatever you like decide. I just want it to be fine. So yeah, it was like that though every day. I was just like that period was just like a very depressing phase, you know, when you have moved like phase of grief, when you have moved from denial to then acceptance. No, is it acceptance or bargaining? I can't remember the.
I don't know the room you're talking about.
Yeah.
So I cannot contribute, unfortunately.
You know, at first it was denial, like I was denying that no, I'm not pregnant. But period did not come eventually, and then I knew that okay, definitely I'm pregnant. And then I started to like bargain. Okay, what if I don't want? What if I want? I remember that I could not even pray. I could not do anything. I was just always crying. At the same time, I would be like, God, so I can really be pregnant, because all my life I've always had the fear that I cannot get pregnant. Like funnily, me that used to pray before I got married that when I get married, I'm going to get pregnant with ease. That was part of my prayer point, and then eventually I got pregnant, and I'm like, so I can really get pregnant because it was just like a wonder. At the point I was like, okay, God, I didn't know I can get pregnant. Now I know that I can get pregnant, but can you please take it away? To think that I was even praying against the pregnancy, like, God, please, I don't want this pregnancy right now. So it was just like that. And then there was this certain day I was just so restless, like I lost my peace. I was not happy, like literally in every sense of the word. I lost my peace. I was like, okay, God, I don't want to do abortion. At the same time, I don't want this baby, because if I do abortion is a sin. I was like, at the point I was like, okay, God, if I do so, you forgive me, right? Like I was just all over, like it was just really a trying time, but now we can laugh about it and we can talk about it. So yeah, it was like that day I lost my peace. I didn't even know what to do. I remember we're together in the sitting room. I remember that evening, and I think that was when I received Molly's message. I think she messaged me. She was like, how are you? or something.
Yeah, I think you should meet your mother.
Yeah. So like how I like and me that I was not even fine. Oh my god. I didn't even know when I started crying. I didn't send her a message or I didn't do any like I've not even responded to her message rather. But I started crying. You were sitting here that day, you were with your laptop. And I remember because I didn't want him to hear me, so I went to the kitchen. I went to the kitchen and I went to I think I sent a voice note or it was a call. I can't remember.
So the voice note, because I remember she personally in the voice note.
Okay, so the voice note. So I sent a voice note. I explained everything that had been happening to her. Like I was just crying. I was like, you know what? I'm pregnant. I don't want to keep the baby. I don't want to do this. I want to like I was just telling her everything that happened to that period on that particular day. And she now responded to with a voice note.
I think she was crying.
Yeah, she too, she was crying. She too, she was crying.
Or women.
Well, you see that no? She was crying. She was like that she doesn't know what to do to that. What do I think? She was like, this is your first child. This is your first seed. That why would we want to take it away because of like she was just crying too. So at that point I was like, okay, you know what? Like those words she said now really made sense to me. I was like, that's true. Why would I even want to take out my first seed? Like, why would I want to take out my first child? Like the first ever pregnancy I will have in my life.
Some people that just like people not paying their tithes. Can you imagine?
Oh my god. I'm like, people are looking for this pregnancy back to back. Like people are spending millions just to be pregnant. And you are pregnant free of charge. Like you don't even carry so and you're pregnant just like that. I want to take it out. So that day I was like, you know what, okay, God, whatever I want to do, just do it. So yeah, we talked and yeah, I remember my husband came to the kitchen, he met me while I was crying and he met me talking with or listening to her voice notes then. So he took me out of the kitchen and I think he brought me to the sitting room and he was like, don't cry, you know, sharp petted me all this. So that was that day. It ended and I was like, okay, God, just take control. I don't know what to do. I don't even know I don't know what's the next plan, what I would do next, but I just want to trust you. And I remember that very day, then he gave me his word. He keeps in perfect peace, those that put their trust in him. And I was like, okay, you know what? I'm just going to trust God to do whatever I want to do and just keep my peace. And yeah, that was it. So I remember I think the third day, the fourth day was supposed to be the appointment. So they sent a reminder for the appointment and they now wrote in the reminder that if you want to cancel to this number, blah blah blah. So I was just like, you know what, God, just take control. So I tested cancel to the number and that was how I canceled the appointment. And then the next morning, I had not even told you then that I canceled the appointment. The next morning, I told you that I was going to keep the baby.
Yeah.
So you were like, thank you.
To be fair, I think this video is about dealing with unplanned pregnancy. And, I'll just cut to the chase. So looking back retrospectively now, I think a lot of things God did intentionally. And of course, you know, one thing that happened was those guys, when you called for an appointment with those guys for the abortion stuff, like they didn't give us an immediate date. I think they gave us about 2 weeks. Yeah,
2 weeks after.
And I think that's a very good idea because then at the moment, like, I want this thing out.
Yeah.
But then I think having that time to think, rethink, and all of that was very, very pivotal. And looking at it now, you say, okay, well, that was God working, really, because I think dealing with anything, actually, it has to be God first.
Yeah.
Because immediately I got that word from God, I was just rest assured that everything was going to be fine. So I was waiting for her. And I think one thing I mentioned to her on time that she didn't want to do, but she later did, which is very, very important when you're dealing with any issue, is talking. Like, you don't have to go through life alone. You don't have to go through anything alone.
Yeah.
That's why God gives up people, because community is very, very important. So, because I think Molu played a very major role, because I've been talking, but of course, it was not enough because, of course, I'm her husband, so she'll feel like I'm trying to make her happy. But having someone to talk to is really, really important. And I think in life, you should have people you can talk to, people you can be naked and not ashamed with, actually. Yeah. Of course, not literally. Don't be naked for someone that is not your husband or wife. So, but of course, yeah, people you can just open up to, and they'll be able to tell you things that are right, like give you godly advice. Because imagine if Molly was like, take it out, for instance.
Exactly.
It would have escalated everything. And so, yeah, people who can give you godly advice is very important. And I think I've talked about the word, right? When I got that word, like talking to God and getting a word, my life, I always live my life with words. Like, I make decisions based on the word I receive from God. And I think that for me was very, very pivotal. So the next thing is to start planning. And my kind of person is, I'm more intentional about planning now, but I like life spontaneous, but of course I know that to get things done, planning is important. So yeah, we got to make steps.
Yeah, I remember that time that I was blaming you for everything, if you remember. Because ideally I wanted to get a family planning done from Nigeria, but you were like, no, come and get it here. I blamed you because I was like, if I got it done from Nigeria, if I came to the UK, I wouldn't be pregnant right now. And then I remember that I was blaming you that you were the one that made me pregnant. Yeah, so I was blaming you for everything because he is just like spontaneous, just do things the way they come. But me, I like planning ahead. I'm like, assuming I've got this thing done before. Normally I would have planned my life, but because I'm now married to you, me too, I'm not living a spontaneous life. Yeah, I remember I was blaming you a lot then.
Looking back now, to be fair, I just think whatever happens in your life, it's not a coincidence. But that's not an excuse to be careless, because of course, if family planning was done earlier,
before you plan, if you're not ready to be pregnant.
Yeah, so please go and do it now. Don't wait till you come to UK. If you're in Nigeria, do it in Nigeria. And if you're in UK, please go and see the GP and talk about it.
Yeah.
I think that's the key to doing unplanned pregnancy. Plan against it.
Yeah, exactly.
So, yeah, and when you've planned against it and then it happens, of course, that one, well, of course, I know that healthcare has advanced, so it shouldn't happen. But if it happens, you know that God is strong on your matter. So, and of course, we're also trusting God that those who are trusting God for unplanned pregnancy as well will experience it, because
Amen.
It's something that
it's a thing of joy, actually. Yeah. At the end of the day.
Okay, so I've used my time with this video. Nice meeting you guys. I'm out.
What's that? So thank you guys for watching. Thank you for sharing in our story. Thank you, and thank you. We do hope that you pick one or two things from this video, and just learn from what we have shared. If it is just learning that you should go and do family planning that I've gotten from this video, please,
the best way to deal with unplanned pregnancy is to plan against it. Yeah,
like I said before. So please do the needful, and thank you guys once again. We are so grateful. So bye guys, see you in the next one.